This video is sponsored by HelloFresh. The holiday season is here, and some of our viewers may want to buy themselves a camera to kickstart their filmmaking life. So here is a list of low-price items for beginner filmmakers, and their free alternatives. As this is a list geared towards complete beginners, I won't be going through detailed tech specs. Yes, I do know how to read this. No, you don't need to worry about sensor sizes. Size doesn't matter. I'll keep the list short so it doesn't overwhelm you. But if you have any questions, please leave a comment and let me know. I'll make sure to answer you. Without further ado, let's get started. To start off, we have the Sony a6000. Designed to be a beginner camera, this is your essential jack-of-all-trades camera. It has good photography capability, meaning even if you outgrow it in the future, it'll stay a useful travel camera. And it shoots in 4K resolution at the industry standard 24 frames per second. It comes with a touchscreen, making it very intuitive to use, a great first camera for newbies. If you're unsure what you want to do in the future, this is a camera that will stay useful no matter which career path you choose. If you have some knowledge about filmmaking, you may also be thinking about the famous Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Compared to the jack-of-all-trades Sony camera, despite its low price, Blackmagic is very much a dedicated cinema camera. It only does video, and it does it exceptionally well, but it does nothing else. It can shoot RAW format video with a very good 13 stops of dynamic range, meaning it's much better at preserving details in highlights and shadows, thus giving a more pleasing image. However, its file size are humongous. Battery life is pretty short, making it a poor camera for any situation that isn't filmmaking. If filmmaking is all you care about, say if you want to be the next Smosh, or if you want to shoot music videos only, this is a professional level camera for you. But what if you don't have $1,000 to spend? Well, you can always use your phone. A lot of smartphones these days can also shoot at industry standard frame rates and resolutions. While most phones only have a wide-angle lens, if your phone shoots in 4K, you can always crop in and export it at 1080p. Heck, crop in even if you aren't shooting in 4K. Who's gonna stop you? Beginner filmmakers tend to be very obsessed with image quality, wanting their film to look just as good as the real movies. But no, stop it. A good story is all you need. Make a movie with a phone if you don't have money. You'll be learning filmmaking either way. Wait a minute, HelloFresh is not a filmmaking tool. No, but it should be part of your holiday experience. On these special occasions, I think many of us all thought about making a home-cooked meal for our families and loved ones. But we never did it because we are either busy or you are bad at cooking, kinda like me right now. And that's okay because HelloFresh is here to help. With HelloFresh, you can get amazing seasonal recipes with pre-measured ingredients delivered right to your door. All meals comes with these detailed and easy to understand instructions. Even with my terrible cooking skills, I can still serve up some amazing results in just half an hour. Since all ingredients come pre-measured by portions, that means it will be a sustainable holiday meal with less food waste. Go to HelloFresh.com and use the code ACCENTED14 to get 14 free meals, plus free gifts and free shipping. That's ACCENTED14 in all caps. Link in the description below. Save yourself some time and stress in your holiday meal planning. Give HelloFresh a try today. Good sound is important. Crappy image with good sound is a style.
Alright, come on, into the house. Come on.
Crappy sound with good image is unwatchable.
What do you know about opera?
Here are the pieces of equipment I use. However, for a lot of beginners strapped for cash, my advice would be to just not buy anything yet. For the first 2 years of my filmmaking journey, I didn't have a mic. I just mixed silent films with sound effects added from freesound.org. In fact, that's how I started film school. Our first assignment was to make a silent film. Because if you can't tell a story visually, you can't tell a story at all. If I have to recommend one piece of equipment, a simple SmartLav Plus that plugs into a phone is a cheap and functional option for beginners. There will come a day when you realize you need good sound, but by then, you already know what equipments you need. For now, take things one step at a time. Finally, you need an editing software. And no, I do not recommend Adobe. There are plenty of cheap options out there, and the cheapest of them all is also the most important. Made by Blackmagic, DaVinci Resolve is an industry standard color grading tool. Yes, it's mostly used for color, but it does have robust editing capabilities, especially after the semi-recent updates. For this reason, I highly recommend learning to use Resolve, as the knowledge can open up a lot of future work opportunities. It's a complex tool and can be intimidating, but it will be worth it. However, if you want an easier start, Filmora is a good choice. Previously a sponsor of this channel, not sponsored this time, I think it may be the most user-friendly editing program I ever used. I tutored a bunch of 12-year-old kids in a filmmaking course a few years back, and this was the program I chose. So, if you have zero experience with video editing, at around a $70 purchase, this is a cheap and easy way to get started. And finally, personally, I use Final Cut Pro. Yes, people are going to crucify me for saying this. Final Cut Pro is a very different editing program. It doesn't have the usual video track and audio track set up, and has a magnetic timeline, which can be confusing for newcomers. These features make it a fast editing program, which is why I use it for this channel, but the skills you acquire on it don't always translate well to other programs. For this reason, I wouldn't recommend it as your only program. Before we wrap up, there are other side equipments you may consider buying. The first one is a tripod. What you want is a fluid head tripod. Manfrotto tend to be a safe brand to rely on. They can get pricey, but my cheap tripods consistently breaks after about 12 months, so it saves you money in the long run. Lighting is also an extremely important aspect of filmmaking. If you don't have any spare change, learning to shoot in daylight is always an option. Not the easiest option, mind you, but a very useful skill to develop. Otherwise, LED panels are one of the most versatile and affordable options. Or you can just do it like me and buy a construction light. Yes, it works. At the end of the day, doesn't matter if you spend thousands of dollars on this list or exactly $0. Just know that none of it will magically make your film good. The more expensive tools open up more options, more camera angles, more camera movements. But they are options, not necessities. Don't feel obligated to buy anything until you outgrow what you have. And what you have may already be plenty.